right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave, and welcome inside Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. If you're driving along tonight, joining us on the simulcast, we appreciate that. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi with you. You can call 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Bordas & Bordas hotline. And Pony, right off the bat, I have to start by watching the end of this game tonight where the Florida Panthers disappeared in front of the net, and they allowed Ross Colton to skate all alone and take a feed from Nikita Kucherov with 1 second left. It looked like overtime. I like Florida. I'm down 2-0.
Well, you also like Will Zalatoris, and somebody took your advice and made that bet.
Boom.
He's feeling pretty good about things on the FanDuel Sportsbook a stroke back. Also, Bob, by the way, I was at Wild Rosemary tonight. They're raving about you. They say every time a customer comes in, they say the Bronzino with the fish head on there, Pompeani ate it. He was not intimidated at all.
Yes,
and so
I
just want you to know that that's now your claim to fame, and that very nice establishment. So, you know, I'm having a hard time watching these playoffs now that the Penguins are eliminated, because I think to myself they should still be in this. Mm-hmm. They should still be playing. So it's hard for me to separate those two things. I know one of the things I mentioned to Mueller today was I would have preferred Antti Ranta at 2 years, $4 million over Brock McGinn. If we're talking about things the Penguins could have done last offseason to give themselves a better chance of succeeding in this year's playoffs, the fact that Carolina got a pretty professional goalie for only $2 million a year, and they only had to give him 2 years, Bob, I would have much preferred him to Casey DeSmith or Louis Domingue. And he's a guy that was available last offseason, that was within the Penguins' price range, and they decided to instead go after guys like Brock McGinn and Danton Heinen. So we're trying to figure out what's next for Ron Hextall. I think that's one decision that I look back on, and I think, given the way Tristan Jarry folded in last year's playoffs and Casey DeSmith's history of injuries, that's a move that I would have done. I would have given Ranta that money, and I would have felt much better about the Penguins' goaltending situation.
I don't mind so much Danton Heinen. I thought he played well, especially in bigger games. But, yeah, I get your point. And, you know, Carolina brought in two guys. They got rid of a young goaltender, and instead they brought in him, and they brought in Frederik Andersen, who's been injured. But, yeah, that is a signing when you look back at it. He's 2 years, $4 million. That's pretty good. Now, Louis Domingue, I'm sure they didn't think was going to be forced into the role, but this is why you go and you build insurance. And you can have it in a lot of positions. Goaltending is the most important position. To your point, given the the season that Jarry had in the postseason, and given the fact that DeSmith was your backup, but you could always use more, I can understand that one. In the meantime, they're going to have to make a lot of changes. And the question really that starts with them, if you're the Fenway Sports Group, is do you believe in your management? And do you believe that they are going to make all the big decisions that you need to make, or would you rather have your own people making those decisions? And I think that's where it starts, Andrew.
Well, I don't think Ron Hextall, and he hasn't had a lot of time here, but he hasn't made a move yet that I think has made the Penguins better. You know, everybody raved about that Jeff Carter trade last year, and okay, he was pretty good against the Islanders in the playoffs, and then he had a so-so regular season and got rewarded with a big contract extension. I'm not a fan of that. We liked the Rickard Rakell deal at the trade deadline,